La, 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 la. Good morning everybody and welcome back. My name's Iris Smith and I'm the owner of a small business called The Flower Patch. And at The Flower Patch I make beautiful artificial flower arrangements for all occasions. Right guys, I hope you've all had a wonderful weekend. Again, whether it be with your family and friends or creating something beautiful. So today I'm going to do something for Father's Day, as it is in I think it's the 15th of June this month that it's going to be Father's Day in the UK. So, and I've not yet done one for Father's Day, an arrangement. So I was going through while I was tidying up my shelving under here, and right at the back I've just thrown something right at the back, and it is very well, I say fragile is not the right word. I think I'm not really one for using these kind of material because they're very twiggy and the twigs get everywhere. They just seem to fall out, and it's just a little swag. See, I found one here, look, they just keep coming out, so it seems to have lost a lot of weight. And I've ran out of my extra, where I buy on a roll, grapevine, and it's like ribbon just on a roll, where you can add it into things, you know, things like this to give it an extra bit of volume, I guess, and fullness. This looks a bit sparse, but don't worry. If you've got anything like this, guys, whether it be in this for, another piece of straw. You know, before the end we won't have any left. I've got a vision for that in my mind. But if you've got anything that's like this, in this very fine twiggy material, don't worry guys, because by the time you've placed in your glue and things like that, the glue will be holding the twigs together, so with any luck they won't fall out. No, this shouldn't really. So this is quite thin. Again, as you can see, it's only, let me see, an 18-inch. I keep getting bits dropping out. Look. Perhaps if we just bang them, see how many things come out, or just rub our hands down it to see if any loose bits. Oh God, they're everywhere. I didn't do it anymore in case we won't have one left. So, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a little bit of this wire around it to give it a bit of extra security to hold the twigs in place. So we'll do that once we start. Right. So, and again, it's the same with the if you buy a wreath in that material, very fine twigs, you know, just get your bind wire and go around it, guys, to give it an extra bit of support, you know, from anything dropping out. So I've chosen, I want to try and incorporate a bit of ivy into it. So I've cut a bit off of my garland. I do buy this on the garland. I don't buy it on stems, because if you get more on a garland. So if I want them on stems, I will pull them off, you know, individually like that and place it on a pick. So that's why I tend to buy the garlands, because I can get more foliage on it if I take them off individually than I would on a stem. So we've got that. Now I've got out just one of my Shakibi leaves, which, you know, I love these, I really do. I think one day I might make a wreath just in these for the foliage, and that's it. But yes, we've got these, and we're going to maybe whether I use them on picks, or again chop them smaller into smaller pieces. We'll see as we go along. Now I wanted some wispy bits in the foliage, so I've got out what I placed, apart from there's one stem here, no, two, but the rest I placed individually on picks, some of my wispy boxwood. So I've got those, and I want those for the movement as well. So we've got those, and I have picked different slight, tones and shades of the foliage. So I've also, I thought, well, they are, an all year round tree. Some people just use them for Christmas time, but I say you don't need to use them just for one season. You can use them all year round. I have got one of these, and the smaller in the pine needles than the 11-inch ones that I usually use. So these are actually 7-inch. So I want to just, there's 5 on there, so I want to just dot those around and add a bit of nice pine needles to the arrangement. I've also got out, well, I placed these on picks before I started. I grabbed hold of one bunch of eucalyptus. I wanted them all on single stems, so I've got the picks out and placed them all on single picks as well, because I want to dot these around because I've got my background foliage that I've chosen, so I didn't want this as background, but I did want to incorporate it. So we've got the silver dollar eucalyptus, and I don't know how many I caught. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, 7. I took 7 of our beaded fern, cut them off the bunch, and I thought we could incorporate that as well, again with the movement. And this is like dark at the bottom, and it goes slightly lighter to the tip of the leaf. So we've got that. And I thought, let's get a bit of blue foliage in, guys. We can't not have blue foliage. So I've got out this. Isn't this pretty? Now I forgot what no, it's not maple. No, maple doesn't sit like that. I know what maple is. I can't quite remember what it's called. But I thought just incorporate some of this, just to give a little bit of different texture and different tone than just green foliage. So we're going to see if that works. So for our floral, I've got these lovely little, they come on a little bunch, and I've chopped the bunch off so I don't have to be chopping away all the time. Chop the ends off. But these little beautiful two-tone roses, don't they look superb? I love those. I love the colour, the lighter on the outside to the dark on the inside, with its own little like limey green and dark green foliage, a few little bits of white wildflower with it as well. So they are really pretty. I thought I may add a little bit of white in. So again, before the video, I grabbed my Ranunculus. I love Ranunculus, but I wanted them this time on single picks. So I grabbed a bunch what had 5 stems on, and I placed them all from one bunch on single picks so I can dot them around. So I thought I didn't want to be showing you doing this while I'm doing the video, and you probably get bored. So I thought, let's get it done before. I've got this left from when I did the patriotic wreath. This one stem left of these little balls, so pom-poms. So I thought I'll use this last stem up. Let's get it used. And with it being darker in blue as well. Now I haven't gone through these. I've got another box full of these baby Gerberas, but let's take one off and put one down there. We're going to use again two-tone with the darker and then the lighter baby Gerberas for movement and our wispy bits. So I thought, let's get those in as well. And I forgot to show you this. I've got some little dusky foliage again in the baby Eucalyptus. Now, isn't that pretty? It's called the baby blue Eucalyptus. Again, it's got, now they like a bluey grey, a darker dusky grey, blue, sorry. But I may want to pop the odd one of those in as well. And finally, I haven't used these yet. I've had them, well, not really that long, last month, some point. And I've been looking at them because they're just right there and they stare at me when I'm just sat here choosing what flowers I might choose for the video. And because I wanted Father's Day, they just popped out just like that. And they are one of my favourite flowers, the Cosmos. And guys, the two-tone, I've just had to have these in. They are glorious, beautiful. And again, you get 3 flowers on one stem. And they are really, really pretty. I don't know if you can see if I bring them closer up. They are absolutely wonderful. So we're going to use those as well. So that is what we've got for today. So if I keep the foliage together, why does that one keep falling down? Keep the foliage together and then the floral together, and then I can't go wrong. So we're going to be starting probably with the blue. The wispy. So we'll place them in that sort of an order. So I'm going to, I don't know whether to attach the bow now. I usually wait. I'll attach the bow once we've wired it up properly. Right, I'm going to bring the camera down. Let's just get working. I'll come in a little bit closer. I think you may see it better there. Oh, sorry if it's rocking, I've just kicked it. It will stop. Well, it should do. I didn't touch it. Right. I've got 2 full bags of garland of the ivy here. And I've not yet put them away. So they was just on my floor. That's not like me, but I was busy with my husband in the garden over the weekend. Right, let's get this sorted. Now I'm just going to cut a large piece off. Fingers crossed it's long enough, because I can't thread the raw around, you know, under and out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just attach, let's get that a bit longer. Attach the wire around the top, and then we're going to start and go through. So all I'm going to do is thread it through the thicker central spine where all the twigs are in. Let's just unravel that. Don't want it to get caught. And we're just going to go and keep threading it back and forth, you know, in and out, go through like you're sewing. We all know what it's like when we're sewing. It's especially when your kids come along. Oh, I've got an hole in my sock. Can you sew it me? So give it a little bit of a tug, and again go through. And it's just so I can hold in some of the twigs without them all keep falling out. Otherwise we won't have one. It'll be empty, and we don't want that, do we? I'm trying to find the spine of it so I don't catch the ones on the outside. And I'm going all the way down to the bottom. Well, not right to the tip, because and then if you wish now, you can carry on going back up, but crossing over like an X over the one that you've just placed in. And I will go as far as this will take it, because I haven't measured the size of the wire at all. So I would just go where I can go. So this is what you can do if you ever get a loosey-goosey fine wreath or swag in these very fine twigs. Let's make sure we don't catch that in. I may be able to go to the top. See, as you can see, all of the twigs they've become loose. Right, I've reached the top. So I'm going to go under where I started to create a loop, and then wrap this around the bit at the top where I started. There. So I've gone and secured that a bit more, and look at it all, how it's all come out. This is how easy, when you get some like that with the twiggy bits, very fine twiggy bits. I have had wreaths like that before, and I think I've still got some, but you just have to sort of like give it that extra support. There's still nothing wrong with the wreath in itself. Right, so now I've done that, fingers crossed that not too much comes out. And let's start. I'm going to put my bow on, not, in a few moments. I want to just start creating my boundary, as I call it, how I'd like things to be, and use the background foliage for that. I'm sure I cut 2 of those. Yeah. So I cut these down where I wanted 2 here. I'm doing it upside down so you can see it as it'd be, you looking at it on the correct way. And I did 1 for there, and then another 1 for there. and then I got one I wanted there, and then I left these because I didn't know whether I wanted these like this up the top, like so. So we're creating that shape of the swag, how it goes down to a point. So that is how I had a look, and I cut them before the video. So I may need to take these bottom leaves off. In fact, I know I will. So let's just pull the bottom leaves off. We can use them in the center if we want, or around the bow. Just cut that off. Right. Let's first of all, let me cut it at an angle first. That would help. My goodness. So I'm going to go into the spine, because that's the, like on a swag, on a evergreen swag or a spruce swag, you've got your main spine in the center. So I'm going to go in to the main spine. Let's cut this at an angle too. And we're going to do this the same side as well. Again, slide it into the spine. Go with the actual grain of the wreath and slide it in. Oh, that's okay. And then I'm going to go down here, do the same, slide it in. Let me cut this one at an angle. And I'm going to go through the center with that to give that the length at this end. And I'll come back to the top. Now I'm not sure, I may have to take that one off as well, because I don't want the stem too long. Oh, and I just wish to say hello to my dear friend Audrey, who lives in Phoenix, New York, who does videos on artificial floral arranging as well. From Heavenly Scent Cut Flowers. Have a look at her, guys. She's a wonderful, wonderful lady. She's very, very sweet. And she's a dear, dear friend. She makes some beautiful things, and I loved the truck that you did, Audrey. It was lovely. And if anybody in the States knows where there's any craft fairs for Audrey to go to near Phoenix, New York, because it has to be near where she is, go to Heavenly Scent Cut Flowers, give her an email or a text, just to give her, tell her where she can go to craft fairs near her home. That would be a big help for her. If I lived near you, Audrey, I would be searching, and I would, go with you. Unfortunately, my friend, I'm at the other, across the pond in the UK. Just a leaf missing off there. I'm just placing picks on these, guys. So if I need to use them, then I've got some. And once I push the pick in, some of the glue seeps back out and I take that off. I don't like to see big blobs of glue, but that's just my opinion. And I've noticed my friend Audrey does the same thing, bless her. So, see, let me trim that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place one there. I'm lifting it up to give it that volume. I don't want it sitting flat. One there. Another one there. And this is all our background foliage. And also I've created our boundary as well. I'm going to go down that way, because our bow will sit here in between. So if I show you, I won't put the bow on just yet. I want to put a bit more foliage in, but our bow will sit here. So I want to get now these pine needles in, because they are the thicker one as well. I've got 5. I'm going to place 1 here, 2, 3. I should have got 6 really. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me cut another one off. I've got a garland here. Let's get one on there. If I can find it. There we go. Six. There we have it. I've got some on garlands as well. Again, I do buy the garlands, so it, you know, because you do get more on them. So let me just cut that in at an angle. There we have it. I'm going to place that in at the top. That's going to be our, and these are wired as well, which is great. And I'm having 2 coming out here, then 2 on the side, and then 1 down at the bottom here. In fact, let's get the one at the bottom in. And I'm just going vertical with that. It's slightly longer than the blue, because I want that as the, also as a point. Let's cut these off individually. Save time. I love my pine needles. So we're going to do the same with this one, and I'm going at the top. Do I go? I'm going to go down with the stem, because I want it sitting more around the top area, like so. Again, I'm working upside down. I don't mind working upside down, because sometimes I find that that helps you guys better to see when I'm saying left or right. You know, there's your left, there's your right, as you look at it from your screen. I can work backwards in that way. So I think that would help you better. actually have got some more. Oh, I'm terrible with my pine. No, I'm going to stick to what I'm doing. Oh, should I have brought those up a bit higher? Let's have a look. No, they can't. They'll be all right like that. Again, lift up some of your foliage if you want more volume. Right, so our eucalyptus. Well, I keep getting my knuckles caught. I'm going to bring this in, and with it being having a bluey, silvery or bluey green tint, I thought that would sit lovely. I'm going to cut a few down. I don't think I'm going to use every one that I've done. Again, I'm going to go in between the pine, like so. Bring that centre point. And do that, like that. See you later. What time you finish?
8 o'clock.
Okie dokie. Have a good day. And then I'm going to bring one here. That's my son going to work, guys. He's a good lad. Very proud of my children. I say children, but they're my babies to me, even though they are, you know, 25 and upwards in age. That shows my age, doesn't it? Oh, I don't mind about telling you my age, guys. You know, I'm proud of my age. I'm 55, very proud of my age. It is what we make it. Let me get that big glue string off. And then I'll place one just under there. I may bring one to the back. Or do I bring it here? No, I'll bring it here. Do I need one? I want to just keep these incorporated. I may bring one. There's one needed somewhere around here, so I'm going to bring one around the centre. As well. We'll hang back with those for now. So I'll place those there. Oops, daisy. Now this will start to give it that more movement, because this blue foliage, even though I brought it up, it is still the background foliage, what we've created our shape with of the swag. Where's that bow? I didn't want the bow to sink too much, so I want to get that a bit fuller here in the center. So again, I'm going to use these. These are push-ups. Now, For you new beginners, that means basically you can push the leaves up, down, or have them all as a cluster at the top. You know, on this case, I may leave them like that instead of as a cluster. So just go a little bit more. So if you look at what I've done, I've created, if you look at a swag, and this may, even if it's a Christmas swag or any type of swag that you're creating, you know, for the ladies and gentlemen that have already heard me, you know, say the easy way to, you know, for your placement on a swag to remember is the top of it in the center is your neck. Think of it like a human body part. This is your neck. These are here your shoulders, which is the wider point on your body. Then here, around here is your ribs, your rib cage, and then from here downwards is your waistline. So it goes, you know, your neck, and then out here for your placement, wider here at the top for your shoulders, and then you start going in towards your waistline. That's, you know, I wish we all had got a nice thin waistline like that. I did once, but you know, I still look at myself, you know, that all those beautiful ladies have all got a nice slim waistline, no matter what shape or form we are. We're all the same. We're beautiful within. So I've created that on the top again for that movement. I want that I'm not so happy about this one. It seems to be, I don't think it's in as much as I'd like it to be. Let's just pull it back out. So pull them out if you wish. Get rid of the old glue. Because if you don't get rid of the old glue, guys, you're just placing glue on top of it and it's just going to get thicker, the stem with the dried glue. And it comes to the point where then you're going to have a big thick blob of glue inside, and if you want to place in some more stems, you're not going to be able to because of that thick, you know, piece of glue. What's stopping you by, you know, just not taking it off when you change it. We're going to place, if that makes sense. How many do I want? Do I just place one up here? Yeah, I'll place one up here. So I'll give you I'll show you what I mean. Because sometimes I can waffle and I don't make sense. So I'll dip this little piece in glue and I'm going to let it dry. So we'll let it dry and we'll come back to that. And I'm going to come down here. Again, let's spread the leaves out. Give them that shape and movement. Now at the bottom, I'm going in from the bottom up to the top. I'm not going in from the top to the bottom. Let's lift that as well. I may not need 7. There's one there. I did have a lovely lady ask me that she'd like to see me do more wreath frames, you know, the wired wreath frames, what you'd probably put deco mesh on. She watched one of my videos. She's a new lady to subscriber, bless her. So I will do one. I like to always, you know, do different things. I've just had quite a few requests at the moment for different things as well. So, right, so I've done that. I've got one left. Now, I could bring that in here or around here in the centre. Or I could even bring it there. I could get another one, actually. Bring one there and then maybe have one here. Yeah. Right, let me just, before we carry on, you see now I've put the glue on that, and this is what I was trying to explain. Oops a daisy. If you've put your glue on your stem, you've placed it in there and you realise it's in the wrong position and you pull it out and it's still got the glue on. If you don't take that off, because now it's quite, you know, thick and clumpy, you know, if you don't take that off and you dip it back in the glue, you end up with it being thicker. So then with it being thicker, when it dries, it's going to be harder to get into your wreath, you know, or whatever you may be doing. And plus, if you haven't got much room, when it comes to placing another stem and you've got to go past it, you not go past it because there's a big clump of glue there, a big blob of glue. So that big blob will be stopping you. So that's why I always say, if you're taking something out and it's got glue still on it, the old glue, take the old glue off like so. Let me just get that off my finger. I know my friend Audrey does this as well. She takes her glue off. Take the old glue off, and then when it comes to putting your stem in next to it, you've not got a big blob of glue from barricading you from going past it, if that makes sense. I'm just going to place this one in here, and that can sit there. I'm going to get another piece. I'm going to cut another piece off of a stem, if I can get to him. There we have it. And then I'm going to bring this one here. And I'm going to entwine it around. So it's like that. I haven't really lost a lot of twigs underneath, and that is because we've secured it. So that is what we've got there. Again, I'm not putting on my bow yet because it is still quite, it'll be like that. I want it at least up here, so I need something under here. So I may place a little bit of this. Now you can pull these off. These are push-ups as well, and place them on separate picks. For this one, I'm going to make it as a cluster because I want my bow. and I want it there. So then when I come to placing on my bow, that will be underneath and it will hold my bow up a little higher because it is quite solid. So let's get that piece in. Like so. So as you can see, it's lifted up. And let's see now with our bow. Let's get the loops on the side that they should be. So that, now my bow is sitting higher. So if I'm going to, instead of taking it round the back, I'm going to go through the wire at the top. Oh, I've lost my, oh, it's here. The wire at the top that I added on to hold the wreath together. So I'm going to place it through there. Let me just sort these out, guys. I can cut these if I think they're in the way and they're too much, or I can thread them throughout the foliage. Let's just move it around a little. So I'm just, and I haven't done a 360 bow, I've done just a horizontal bow. You can move your loops into position, you know, into twist them outwards. It's entirely your decision, guys. I'll just put the blue a little bit up here. Put one down there. So now we've got it like that. So our bow is sitting beautiful at the top. Right, now our ivy. And some people may think, I've had it where somebody's questioned me before about the ivy, placing it on instead of at the bottom. There isn't a set way, guys, to place on any, you know, your ivy. You can place it at the top, underneath. It's your final decision. It's on whatever design you are creating. There isn't a set design for anything, you know, when it comes to where you should place things. Oh, I broke that one. So when I say where you should place things, obviously there is when it comes to the floral, have placement to balance it. But things like this, wispy bits, I want hanging over. I want to show you that the ivy, the reason I got it out is because you don't have to place ivy under everything, because it's such a beautiful foliage. You're just hiding it all the time, you know, like I do with sometimes with the fern. Bring them along the top and then let things, you know, incorporate in. So this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to have one higher than the other. And I'm going to do that sort of effect. So, but before we do that, I want to, I'll hang on to that. I want to start getting in some of our floral. So I'm going to get in the roses. So I want one up here. Let's just put an angle on the end. And I'll show you what I mean, guys. It's such a wonderful way to, you know, make a different design than the, you know, traditional shape what people do, or what you've done yourself for a while. So I'm just looking. Oh, I've just caught that. To make sure it's in the right place. So it's just something different, you know, different placement of your foliage. So that's that one. Let's bring that there. I always say have fun and play around with your florals and your foliage. And that is where then you'll learn to create yourself a new design or shape, or, you know, with your foliage or your floral. And you'll be pleasantly surprised, guys, how beautiful it becomes by playing around and trying new things. You'll love it. It's all the fun and joy. So I've gone here, I've gone there. So now I'm going opposite. I am making that triangle at the top. So I'm just going to go under here and just lift up your foliage if it's, you know, in the way. Lift it up so you can get past it. Oh, I haven't got a leaf on that one. Never mind. So that's 3. And what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to place this in here. So I've got the triangle here. I've got one left, and I'm going to bring it right down at the bottom. Or I could bring it at the top. Let's have a look. No, I prefer it at the bottom because it gives that extended length of the arrangement. Not too much extended, but there you have it. Isn't that pretty, guys? Right, the pom-poms again, something darker. Now these are on paperback. There's 5. I'm going to take them all off. Let's put that there. I'm going to take the paper off. I don't want that on, because if it's going outside and it will get wet, and I don't want it to slip out from the bottom. Now I'm just adding these in. If you want, I mean, I do use tape, floral tape as well, to hold the paper in place, but I've gone right to the wire in the center, so I don't need to add the floral tape. So I'm going to place this one on the same side, just hanging. Let's see where that's going. I'm going to bring this under. let's thread some of our ribbon through. Make sure it's going where it's not going to be stuck in mid-air. Bring it right under to the bottom, or as far as it will go. No, that's catching on something. So I may... I'll have to play around with those and have one on the top. We'll have to have a play. Let's carry on with our pom-poms. Oh my goodness, guys, this morning I was in the living room and I heard this noise, and it was sort of like a scurrying noise. I thought, oh my goodness, what's that? And I just thought, oh my gosh, I hope we don't have mice. You know, I've never had mice in my house or anything. Oh no. I've got a leather recliner. And at the back it has Velcro, obviously, so you can get underneath and sweep. Oh, I lifted the Velcro, and guess who was sat under there? Marley. He was sat there looking at me, and he's never done that in his, you know, in all the 11 years I've had him. He has never gone and hidden under the sofa. So I sort of like had to tell him off and tell him to get out, because Marley goes through stages where he likes to start to play underneath. I've got a cabinet as well, because it's got legs underneath. He goes underneath and lies on his back, and he scratches the top like that underneath the cabinet, and I have to tell him off. And that's what he was doing to my sofa underneath, and I didn't want, oh crikey me, all cat scratches in my leather sofa. No, 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 no. So I had to shout at him. He was a naughty boy. So I think he's gone outside sulking. But we can't have that, can we? We can't have the animals, you know, because furniture's not cheap. We all know furniture's not cheap. So we can't have the animals ruining it. I mean, there's leather sofa. We haven't had it long, and it wasn't cheap. It really wasn't cheap. But that's, you know, at the end of the day, the cats can't do that. They can't do that. It's not acceptable. So he had to be told. Right. So I've placed in the blue pom-poms, and I've only, I had 5, didn't I? It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 at the top, 5. So we've done those. Now, we may not even use everything, guys. We might not even use the ranunculus. But I want movement with our blue baby Gerberas. I think in the States you call them Gerberas. No, you know, they're both the same. Oh my. You know, if you have these guys and you've got the odd one of these stems left on it, save it, because you can use this for a pick. If you know, you need a pick, you can save it. You either save it like that and keep it on the main stem, and put it in a little, have a tub of, you know, or a jar, and place in things like that for when you need a stem. But I obviously need this, because I'm just a bit heavy-handed there. So let's glue that back on. I don't know what that is. It's a plastic. Let me just get it all. Place that one on, and then the leaf at the bottom. Right, so now I have the baby Gerberas. So what I'm wanting to do, one either side of this pom-pom coming out from here. If you can see, I want one around here, either side, so on the shoulders. If you think of it as a body part, on the shoulders, and then I want to be coming down here, here, and then down here. So we may need another bunch. That's okay, we've got them. Let me cut this a little bit. We don't want it so long. I keep getting my necklace caught. So let's go in. There. Let's get one with a few more flowers on. And then one this side. Bring that in. Oh my goodness. I'll put it in my pocket. Then we're going to go glue string. Just wind it around the stem. Or your finger, should I say, not the stem. So where I go one side, I will go on the opposite. This one there. We may not need another one actually. I'm going to place this one at the bottom, but I'm going to go under the pine. So we have that with our baby Gerberas. I may want to bring two in here. Let's bring two in. That's one. Two. So again, these are push-ups as well. They're all the same. I'm pushing these up so I can get the most out of the cluster at the top so they can be seen instead of hidden. So that's there. Yeah, I'm going to place one in here. It's needed. Turn it around. And do the same. I may cut this. Let's. What did I do with my scissors? They're here. I may just cut this a little bit shorter for now. And maybe these. Just for now, just get that. That's okay. I may even go shorter. Who knows? This one's slightly bugging me because it's needs to be going under something there. There we have it. So that is how far we've got so far. I just want to see if we're going to need any white. Oh, look at that, guys. Doesn't that make that look so pretty? Oh, with the ranunculus, I can't help myself. And look at these. I'm going to bring some of these in the centre and at the top. Now these have got rubber stems, and yeah, you can pull the head off, save the stem because it's got the wire inside. Save that stem because you could use it for something else, and then place a pick on it and do that. So then you're saving some spare stems in case you need them for other florals. I think I'm just going to put the 3 in because I've got the ranunculus. And they've got lovely movement, these. Look at that, really floppy. The flower stems haven't got any wire in, so that's the reason they're really floppy. So if you add these on when it's windy and it moves like that, oh, how realistic. I'm all about that. Sorry guys if you think I'm a bit dreamy, but that's me. That's just me. I love anything to do with movement. I'm going to place this also at the top, just there. And this one, oops, I've got something I've just placed. Let me just get that off. This one in the middle here, because I need some floral here. Get that there. And then the one in between the 2 roses, at the bottom. I could place another one here. At the bottom, didn't I? This said down here. Just in between those as well. Do I have another one here? Because there's no floral here, or do I? Let me stand above, guys. On things like this, I like to stand above. Yeah, it's telling me yes. I know it's a odd number, even number. I usually work in odd numbers. But there's no set rule saying you've got to work in odd. It's just how I was taught. But on this occasion, I'm breaking the rule. And I'm going with an even. Place it wrong one. An even number. So we've got that like so. So we've got it now like that. Doesn't that look really pretty? So I'm not going to use any more of those, even though they are beautiful. Let me just place. I'm placing these stems back on here for now, just hold them in place. I don't think I'm using any more of the eucalyptus. To be quite honest, I don't think we're going to need the shakibi spray, and I don't think we're going to need the baby eucalyptus either. Maybe the odd one. I'll cut two off and have them at the top because we've already got one in. And the rest there. Because I want to place this in where it's going to be going. Okay, one like that and one like that. And I don't think I need those either. No. So I'm going to, around here, on the shoulder, top of the shoulders, place some baby eucalyptus, and I've got it here under the bow, so then I've got the triangle of it sitting around. So I'm not going to break these up and put picks on. I'm just going to place them there as they are, as a cluster. Like that. So I'm just playing around with and fluffing up my bow. Like so. Right, so now we're going to put in a few of our ranunculus. Just to bring that little bit of white. You don't actually need it, even though I like to see a bit of white in, but you don't really need it. It can be with or without, but by adding that little bit of white, it gives it that pop, you know, and sort of brings, you know, brings it alive. I'm not going to place them everywhere. I'm just going to bring some down the sides like that, and I'm going to have them a bit more as depth and then being, you know, wispy and out at the sides. I'm using them as depth. So bring them in, so you'll spot them just hanging around. I don't like that sticking there in the way. It does irritate me on certain things. I know I like my bows, but on certain things I don't like it. That's just part of doing what I do. I'm sure we've all got our own ways, haven't we? I'm bringing a tiny bud in, and instead of the, you know, always the big, the floral, bring the buds in as well. You want to show those little ones off. I'm going to bring one up above here. Oops, caught that up. May have the odd one. I can lift it up on the bottom. And I'm just going up. And I think I don't want it too big. I'm going to have a little one on top and maybe the bigger one on bottom and a bigger one on top. Again, I do bring whatever I'm using around, I do try to bring them around the top and the bottom and around the sides, just to give it that flow. So I've placed a tiny one at the bottom and I've placed that one at the top. We've not lost much twigs, look, since we've put that wire around it. Right, so I don't need those. So now here comes where I was on about our ivy. I really don't think we need those. It's not needed. So let's have a look. And again, I've had people can't understand my thought process about placing ivy on top. But you'll see it looks just as beautiful. You have to look through. That's why you can see me where I'm trying to look for a position so it doesn't cover the rose. So it could go down here, or I could have it higher up where the shorter bit is just here, like that, and then start from the rose, the main flower here, and have that like so. Or do I do it the opposite? Start up here. I've got the leaves stuck. Take that one off. Like that, and then you just have to have a little play around with it, guys. And this, if I place it here, again, I'm just going to look how it's going to fall. Oh yeah, it's that way. Right, I know what I'm going to do. I've got these. I'm going to place on picks as well, just to incorporate a little bit in the area here, and probably one here, so it looks like it is scattered around. Give that illusion, even though I'm just placing in 2 long strips. No disrespect to anybody, guys, but I'm not a messy worker. If I see things hanging about, you've probably, you know, especially you new people, if you see me constantly wiping my workbench, my husband says I've got OCD. I probably have. I'm like it in the house. But I'd rather you saw, you know, what I was working on than, you know, struggling to see it. So let me find where the beginning of this is. Just there. So I'm going to place these in. So that one went here. Right. I'm just going to place it in for now, let the glue set. Let's follow this one, and I did it under the rose. Get that glue on that one. There. So I'm just gonna, I'm not leaving it like and before I carry on, I want to get in these couple of pieces. So I'm going to place one up here. Again, so it gives that illusion that it's weaving through. And I'm going to bring one here as well. Right, so now I'm going to position our ivy, bring things through. You could have it there. It's just something blocking it. So this is where you just play around, have fun. There you go, that's that one. And then you've got this little bit here. Have there. Again, I'm not hiding anything. I'm working within, and I'm meeting up with that piece, singular piece I placed in here. It's just because the ivy is so small, well, smaller than some, you know, things. I like the ivy and I like to see it. So that's the reason I'm waited to place it on to the top. So just move again, things out of the way. And I could, no, I'm going to bring it through here. Let's lift up this fern and go through there. That can go off to that side. Bring those couple of pieces of fern in. And that's that side. So you can barely tell it's there, but the principle behind me wanting to do it like that again was so you could see ivy again, because it can be, it's a beautiful foliage and we don't want it hidden, do we guys? So bring it to the top and then weave it in and out of your other florals and foliage. Let's get our bow nice and fluffed. There's 3 flowers there. So guys, that is our project for Father's Day completed today. Now, doesn't that look pretty? And guys, the thing about it is, it was what did we say the measurement of it was? Did we say, I'll tell you, 18 inch And by doing what we've done, we have now created, and there's no stems come through the back. So we've now created, it's nice and clean on the back. So if I say 23 is there, I need a bigger map. 28 inch. It's now become a 28 inch long. So I've added 10 inches in length. So, which has made it look fabulous. So give it a go, guys. I shall get my easel out. Let's get it on the easel. Even if it's not for Father's Day, but you've got something of that material, whether it be a wreath or the swag shape, but in that really thin material, and you're not sure what to do because it's, you know, or how to use it to get the best of it. Let me just fluff everything back up. I can't see. Oh, it's not. So let me. What's that? What's stopping it? Balancing. Right, one moment. I've just pulled something off. A bit of eucalyptus. I think that's right. I'll have a look from the front. I'm sorry guys, I've just pulled something out accidentally and now I've forgotten where it went. I'm trying to see. I'll have to have a look. Let's just get that on there. Right, let me bring up the camera. So we have created a beautiful Father's Day swag, and this would look beautiful if he had it on his workshop, if he's got a workshop, or on his summer house. Sorry, I'm trying to, the camera just keeps going off on its own, you know, position wise. I've tried to get as much as I can in, guys. Yeah, a beautiful Father's Day arrangement, or even just as a arrangement. You know, it doesn't have to be for Father's Day, but it could be just as a gift for your father. You know, or maybe if, you know, your granddad, if you want, you know, give a nice gift to your granddad. Or even if you've got, you know, a granny or your mum like blue, you know, and that's their favourite colour. It doesn't have to be a masculine colour. You know, I know a lot of people whose favourite colour is blue and they are ladies. So, you know, and have something beautiful like this for a lady or anything, or your gran, your grandma, your sis, you know, your sister, your mother, your aunt, whomever, or, you know, anything, guys. But on this particular day, it's for Father's Day. But I wanted to use the blues because I know, you know, my husband wouldn't have blue. He doesn't like blue. So, you know, I know a few fathers that do like blue. So I've done it, you know, with bearing with them in my mind. And also my own father. And so we've created out of the thin twiggy swag. I've wrapped the binding wire around it to give it, you know, a bit more support from the twigs keep falling out. And as you saw throughout, we didn't really lose many, you know, after I binded it up. I've used the blue because I didn't want this blue foliage taking over at the front, so I've used that for our, you know, boundary, to create our boundary and the shape, you know, the line of the arrangement. Even though the swag had given me the line, I was extending it, so I needed to create that line as well with foliage. And then by using just pine needles, I mean, it's an all year round tree, guys. You know, it's not a seasonal thing. Use something like those, you know, the beautiful, add in those if you know, that nice earthy feel. And some fern, it doesn't have to be this fern, you know, you could use crocodile fern, you could use, you know, just Himalayan maidenhair fern, you know, any type of fern. You know, you could use ficus if you didn't want the eucalyptus, you could use willow instead, ruscus, anything like that with a smaller leaf on. Or you could just place in, you know, some foliage like the pothos, you know, calleas, salal, again, anything like that, oak, maple, whichever you know takes your fancy. And then again, placing your floral, if you don't want a bow, just add another flower and some more foliage around that area. You know, you don't have to have a bow, and if you do, you don't have to place it here. You could have it one-sided, you could have it more down here, or you could place two bows in, you know, and have tail ends hanging down at the bottom. There's lots of different ways that it'd make it look really pretty. And again, you know, roses, you don't have to have the light coloured ones I've got. You could have navy, royal blue, you know, dark blue, anything, guys. If you're doing a blue one, or if you're not, whatever colour you may be doing instead, you know, have those there. And I've just added a few little bits of white with the ranunculus, because you know me, guys, I'm a true believer, and I was taught this way, that white or cream or ivory to any arrangement gives it that pop. You know, it really does. And obviously it works in the opposite colours as well. If you was doing a full white arrangement, by you adding a bit of colour, maybe whether it be blue, that blue would give the arrangement a bit of pop, if that makes sense. But because we're doing this colour, the white is giving it that pop. So, and then get a piece of ivy, and or, you know, holly, or whichever you prefer, whatever time of the season you're going to do it. But ivy, and bring one piece from the top down to the center, and then bring the one from around the center, or just above the center, and then bring that down as well. So they're basically like that, and bring them in so they're on top, instead of having your ivy hidden at the back. So I hope you like that, guys, and I hope you're going to give it a go. And if you do, have fun. And I know I had a lady, I think it was Maria, who watched one of my topiary ball videos, and she was inspired to give it a go. Well done, my darling. You know, don't ever doubt yourself. It's, you know, I must express that people say, just like Maria, you know, it'll never be as good as yours. Oh, it can be, you know, it can be. I've had people who I've taught who've made something really, really exceptional, and it's been, you know, much better than what I would have come up with. But that's not the, you know, the thing is, as well as I've had well over 25 years experience at it, you know, and if you're just starting out, then it's a big, you know, a big gap from my experience to you just starting out. But there's nothing stopping you, you know, climbing up that ladder and doing, you know, as far as I'm concerned, there's something that it really, you know, what's the word? Elegant and really big and, you know, extreme and out there, you know, or even create a new design. that people want to sort of like have a go at that themselves. You know, always take pictures as well of your arrangements that you're doing, whether it be a vase arrangement, whether it be table arrangement, a wreath, a swag, a hanging basket, whichever. Take a picture, have it on your phone, or put it on a memory stick, and then keep going back. As the more you improve, and then you keep going back and looking at those photographs, you will see for yourself how much you have improved from the start to where you are now, if that makes sense. Whether it be in a year's time, you know, after a year, look back at the photos you did when you first started out, and honestly, you will be pleasantly surprised how much you've grown since then. And then you'll be looking at those photos and thinking, oh, that's not very good. And you'll be criticizing yourself. Oh gosh, I won't do that now. You know, you will, honestly, you really will. Trust me. I've done it, and I still do it to this day. I can look back at something a year ago and I'll look and I think, oh, why did I do that? Why did I do that? And I'm an experienced florist, you know, but I still do it. We all do. We're only human, guys. So give it a go and have fun. So please subscribe, share and like. To everybody who you know, bring them along, have fun. You know, even if they don't do it, just something to watch and enjoy. And, you know, maybe you might get into it yourself if you don't do it already. So take care, guys. Have a wonderful day. And thank you so much for your wonderful messages. Keep them coming. And, you know, I'll always reply. So have a great day. God bless and take care. Bye for now. Bye-bye. Let's just have a close-up. Oh my goodness, I pressed that button again. It must be when I'm taking it off the stand that I press a button where it's not going to focus very well. Let's get that off. There we have it. Let's turn it more around. Well, there's the cosmos, guys. The beautiful, beautiful cosmos. Isn't that pretty? And then you've got your rough textured pom-pom, your baby Gerberas, your lovely baby blue eucalyptus, your silver dollar eucalyptus, and your pine needles, and your beautiful ranunculus, and the blue foliage, and also you've got your ivy along the front, and your beautiful two-toned roses. Aren't they divine? And of course our beaded fern. Doesn't that look wonderful? Oh, and our bow. Don't forget the bow. But as you can see, the ivy is going down the front, just leaning above slightly, and that is what I was trying to show you, that it doesn't matter by bringing some of your ivy trailing foliage on top. So give it a go, guys, and I hope you have a wonderful time having a go. Have a great day, and I'll see you all soon. Oh, and let me just show you, I've done my racking system and I've got all the buckets in. Here we go, from the floor all the way to there, all the way. I have got, oh, that's Benji's toy. I have got 8 buckets, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, no, 7 buckets. Is it 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 7 buckets high, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So 8 buckets across. That's right. So 56 buckets. And I'm placing tags on. I just wanted to see what they was look like if they was too big, to write on there, so I know what's in there and the cost, so it reminds me if anybody asks. So instead of keep looking at my invoices. So that is that, right near my door. We're, you know, at the side end of my workbench. So there are all the buckets ready. So anyway, guys, have a fabulous day. I'm going to go and have my lunch now, and I'm going to grab a biscuit and a cup of coffee, and I'll catch you all tomorrow. Bye for now. Bye-bye.